I don't know if you guys played football at all. I hated football. Hated it. It was the most boring sport. I would rank it more boring as
No,
a player
baseball is
than
more boring than
all right,
anything.
fine. Okay, fine. Baseball wins the boring.
Well, it depends
Football,
what position you play, though, right?
soccer is ahead of football as far as not boring as a kid, because at least with soccer, you're always active, like you're always moving. Football was horrible because the only sport I played a ton at that point was hockey, and it's constant movement. And so like I would feel like as soon as like I'm feeling amped about the play we're in, it's over. And then you go back, and then
I was always
the
bored.
quarterback goes, "What are we going to do?" And he goes, "Well, I'm 13, so I'm going to hand it off to the fastest kid again." Like and that's the way it always went. And all of my routes were like, "Hey Taylor, run this diagonal route so that we'll trick them into thinking we're going to pass to you." And it's like the cornerback isn't even covering me anymore because he knows that you can't throw it. But yeah, eighth grade football, very fun. Can't believe you guys didn't get forced to play.
I think I did. I don't know how old I was when I played. I don't know.
And you never played, Dick? Never played football?
No, I was forced to play tennis and baseball.
Oh, I also played tennis and baseball.
Tennis is a bunch of fun. Tennis is really underrated.
It's not fun. Tennis gives your parents a direct line to yell at you in a way that other sports have like a coach in the way or multiple coaches. Tennis is like a one-on-one you getting yelled at. So it's really the excitement is lessened by that component. Baseball is great.
Well, it doesn't have to be a one-on-one yell. Like I remember playing hockey. Like my dad was very comfortable yelling at me in front of everyone. Like about like I let in a goal that I probably shouldn't have, and I would like be looking forward in my mask, like dreading looking up to the stands and seeing my dad because he'd be like fucking furious at me.
Yeah,
like, I would be like I was so stressed out about hockey games every single time, just like fuck, like I hope I don't fuck up and like. I don't want to be mad at me.
That's if I had a time machine, I would just go back to one of those any tennis games. Go like, what the fuck is your problem? What do you care about this? Games? Yeah, it's a fucking nightmare.
And he yelled at you. Was your dad? Wait, was your dad good at tennis?
Yeah, he's good. He's like a super athlete. He's great at everything and loves it.
Damn. So he actually had a leg to stand on when he was critiquing you.
Well, no, that doesn't make that. That's the opposite. What kind of things would he yell?
I think he was like Tiger Woods' dad. I don't, or King Richard, the Serena Williams. Like for some reason, a bunch of guys his age. I'm not Serena Williams. No, I know. Believe me, I've heard this many times. At many different levels, many different decibels. I don't know why, but a bunch of guys his age got like Agassi's dad, Serena Williams' sister's dad, Tiger Woods' dad. They all got this idea that that the most important thing for their kids was to have them be like the best athlete, like superstar in the world. I don't know why this was dad's. This was like a dad manufacturing plant decided to make this chip of dad and put it in this model of how to be a pain in the ass. But he got that upgrade just like all these other guys, and I was just not really that good. Like I'm okay, but I also don't hate sports because I hate other people and like.
Did you not have the makings of a varsity athlete?
No, I played varsity. I just don't really like it. Like I like fucking around. I like the slapdick.
My dad was working. He only went to championships. Like he didn't just attend every game. Like,
oh, you lucked out, Woody. I would trade anything.
Yeah. If you want your dad to come to the game, you better make fucking states. Actually, he didn't go to states, but he did go to like local championships that weren't such a big drive.
He went to the convenient championships. Okay, he was.
Oh yeah, Dick is right. You lucked out. Like when my dad wasn't coming to a game, I was like, okay, I can calm down a little bit.
Really, I can't relate to any of this. My dad was at every game because he was oftentimes the coach, and he didn't yell at me. You know, it was like
never.
I mean, only if I wasn't paying attention. If I was in the outfield or something, like not paying attention, it's like, hey, wake up out there. You get one of those. But that's not mean. That's
would
supportive.
he yell at you if you made a mistake on the field?
He never did. But I don't remember making a lot of like mental errors. That's something that I wouldn't do. Like when I failed, it was physical. You know, I wasn't fast enough, or I But with pitching, like there's just this wall you hit where like you just don't have it anymore, like accuracy wise, and it's like at this point, this is on you. Either take me out or reap the benefit or reap what you get.
I'm doing everything I can possibly do to throw it.
Yeah. So no, I don't remember him ever yelling at me, other than to pay attention and or pay attention if I was on the bench too. Like you're not supposed to be horsing around when you're sitting on the bench. You're supposed to be paying attention to the game. Like we're here for this. We're here for this. If you want to like lollygag and like fucking blow bubblegum bubbles on each other back there like a bunch of pussies, like we're not going to do that here today. Like that was clear. We're here to play baseball.
If I let a goal in,
that sounds familiar. If I on the bench, fuck you.
If I let a goal in that I knew I shouldn't look in, it gave me so much fucking anxiety because I knew he would be very displeased with that.
Well, I wouldn't want to disappoint him, but he would never like, you fucked that one up. Like nothing close to that ever. And to be honest, maybe that's why I don't remember like making mistakes like that, is because he never was mean about that. Because I honestly don't have any memories of like big mistakes in baseball. I'm sure I made some. I remember hitting some kids, but that's just funny when you're a pitcher.
Dude, there are frames in my head I can see still if I close my eyes of me missing a puck with my left glove in a championship game, and it like I was so devastated, like I was so anxious, like oh my god, like I wish I saved that. I don't want anybody mad at me.
No, I can't. I've had more experiences like that, like those crushing mistakes that you were embarrassed about in video games than I have sports. Like
that goal, Taylor, I wouldn't have blamed on the goalie. Like I'll blame the goalie if a really slow one gets in. If a knuckleball, like whatever, dribbles in and the goalie. One thing that can happen in hockey if people don't play is it's rolling at them and they don't take it seriously enough. Like they try to stop it with just their stick, or maybe they don't get into proper position to really handle a last minute deflection or something like that. That I'll blame the goalie for. A freaking like wrister that goes in by your glove side, dude, you shouldn't have got that shot off. Like there's a team
same
in front
thing
of you.
Fielding in baseball. You can get down in front of and square up and you can like get that thing, or you can kind of like jaunt over and like do this slick thing where you just kind of reach down and grab it and go through the motion smoothly. And one of them looks cool and the other one works 100% of the time.
Yes. Yeah. So unless the goalie's being lazy,
the goalie thing, like if you haven't played goalie in ice hockey, you may not realize like the puck is vulcanized rubber. It's unbelievably hard. And so when people hold it, they don't think like this is also bouncy. Like, and it's less bouncy once they freeze it, but it's still rubber. It's still bouncy. And so the like most terrifying shot as a goalie was when they would get it on net on like a bullshit dump in, and it would be on net, but it would be landing in like, those balls, those bouncy balls that have like 4 different or 6 different like sticks on every side, almost like a jack,
almost like
that
throwing
you could throw. Yeah, you could throw it and it'll bounce anywhere. Yeah, you don't know where it's going to bounce. And so like I remember explicitly right now, I'm remembering a goal I let in from almost like the blue line where they flipped it in, and I like thought I had myself in the right position, and it landed right in front of my stick and went like and like went right over me, and I remember like wanting to kill myself in that moment, being like, this is so humiliating because no one who just watched this realizes what happened, like how I was trying to track the puck and I fucking missed it. Oh, that's so embarrassing. It is. Being a goalie fucking sucks. You can't leave. You're in there the whole game. Do you know how many games I stood there while opposing fan bases threw fries at me and chicken nuggets at me and shit, and like the refs have to come over and I would have to take my stick and push all the fries and chicken nuggets into the net so that it wasn't in the middle of the play, and like you're just and then like
Taylor, you fool! You should have made a defensive wall out of fries and chicken nuggets so that they can't
rip
score.
the mask off and just start feasting.
No, make a little.
You're giving me power.
I would have
Now I'm
had
gonna save all the bucks.
tall barrier made of fries.
Oh no, Taylor's supersizing.
He's supersizing, and I'm just busting out of my pants, just filling the whole net. Yeah, that's my.
Where can I go to throw chicken nuggets at a kid playing hockey? That sounds great.
Literally any high school game. There was so much.
yeah.
So the way hockey works in high school is it's as far as injuries go, it's the most dangerous sport. It's much less popular than football, and so it doesn't get the same hate. But schools do not insure their hockey programs. All hockey programs are like a third party thing because they don't want to deal with it. And so you would do that, and that's how it would go. There's not much else to explain. That's how they would do it. Is they didn't want to deal with people getting hurt, and so they just threw people on there. But yeah, all the hockey games I would go to, like one of my very close friends now, he's a year younger than me in high school. And in high school, I did not know him at all. His name is Mike. Did not know him. The way I met him is that he came to every single hockey game, even the games that were like at midnight because hockey times are ridiculous. And he would be there, and sometimes he'd be the only student there, and he would get blackout drunk. And the first time I saw him, I saw him around school in the hallways, and he started walking around, like there was no one at the game, and he started walking around the rink towards where I am. And I'm like, what's this fucker doing? Like, is he gonna try and distract me and bang on the glass? And he was walking like he was already fucking blackout drunk. And he gets behind me and he starts banging on the glass. And like hockey players, you don't respond to banging on the glass ever. But I heard him yelling Taylor! Taylor! And I was looking around just trying to see. He's like, I love you. you made so many good saves. He was, and multiple games I would notice him coming around, and he would just be drunk, giving me encouragement, being like, I know we're losing, but it's not your fault. You're doing good. I'm so proud of you. And just doing shit like that. And we became friends later. Dude, there was a time, maybe I'm getting the goalie's name wrong, but it was in the NHL, the biggest league in the world. And just in the middle of a game, they're like, Roberto Luongo, very good goalie. I think it was him. They're like, Luongo skating off quickly in between the whistle. What is going on? Is the coach calling for him? What's happening? What are they going to do? He's the starting goal. The backup is coming in. He's been playing tremendous. He hasn't been injured. What's going on here? And then 10 minutes later, he's back. He's back on the bench. We don't know what kind of protocol this was. And afterward, he's just I was about to poop all over the ice. I absolutely had to. And there is nothing worse than having to take a shit playing goalie, because when the game is on the other side, you have nothing to think about but having to shit the whole time. And I remember me, and I think his name was Nick. He was my backup goalie on a team. I think I was maybe 15 at this time, and I was the starting goalie and he was the backup, and we were playing a game, and it was in a tournament, I believe. And I was feeling like dog shit, and so was he. I think he might have gotten me sick, and we were both having diarrhea. They put both of us in the same room for the tournament trip. And I go out there, and before the game, I'm like, Nick, if I start waving at you, I want you to please get on the ice quickly. I don't want to embarrass myself and poop my pants. And he was like, dude, I totally get it, but I'm not staying out there very long because I got to poop too. And I was like, okay. And so period one, we're in the middle of the first period. We're halfway through the first period. Nick, I'm waiting. I think I smother the puck, whistle, book it off. And we told the coach to expect some erratic goalie changes. And he understood. He doesn't have other goalies. What the fuck's he going to do? Put a player in our equipment?
Expect some erratic goalie changes.
It was we weren't going to win this tournament anyway. Who gave a fuck? And so I skate off, and it is unreal hard to shit in goalie equipment. First of all, your knees with the pads, you can't see the door or the goddamn thing in front of you. You're a mountain of a man. You can't get your pants off without taking the buckles off of your pads. So imagine like shin guards, on the front, you're unbuckling the top ones so that they fold down off of your legs towards the ground, and then you pull your pants down, and then you take your shit.
You're like a knight in armor.
And I'm in a giant, I can barely reach my ass to wipe and take care of it because like a retard, the first time I took the shit, I was like, I'm going to leave this on. This is speedy. And in the middle of wiping, I'm like, am I getting shit on my jersey? Thankfully, I did not get shit.
Unbeknownst to you, you're just smearing shit all over your number back there.
Wow, no one wants to get close to the crease. They're too intimidated by that goaltender. It's like, no, it's because he's got shit all over himself. The ultimate defense. And so I get back out there, and I swear to God, the second I get back out on the bench, I start to feel more grumbles, and I see Nick waving it. It was one of those shits where all I was doing was relieving temporary pressure. There was no a full evacuation there. And so Nick immediately waves me over. I'm like, are you kidding me, man? He runs in there, takes a shit. I make it through the first period, and I think I make it through most of the second. And then I had to bail. Like, I think I shit 3 times. We each shat 3 times.
Remind me again, how did you get like poisoned? What happened?
I don't remember. It was on a trip. And so we ate the same shit, both of us, the night before. So it must have been something we ate. I don't know. But that's the only thing that makes sense. We were in the same room. We probably got some like room service feeling like big shots for, from the fucking bullshit Marriott we were staying at. But yeah, that was horrible. That was the least fun game of hockey I've ever played in my life. Like the panic of having to shit and knowing not only are you not near a toilet, you are 5 minutes of frantic equipment removal once you get there. And once you can see the porcelain, your mind tells you it's time.
Yeah.
Psychologically. Yeah. And so I'm there, you're dancing, trying to get that shit off. Absolute nightmare.
That sounds like no fun at all. No. I'm surprised that it doesn't happen in more sports. I have seen it in
true.
UFC. Not in UFC, I don't think, but definitely in like mixed martial arts, them shitting themselves. Like,
oof. Well, they have to leave the ring for that. They can't let them keep wrestling if they're shit.
That's a disqualification.
You know what? Fair,
right?
That is fair. You don't.
He shit himself. Well, you sir win.
Whoa, gross. Here's your medal.
He's up there like, I don't hear no bell. It's like, dude, you have shit yourself. You lost. Like by every measure, it's over.
It's so embarrassing.
What do you think the best weapon amongst the sports equipment is? How would the hockey stick fare if we're going zombie hunting?
I wonder. What's the comparisons though? So like football, you don't have anything physical. I guess a helmet.
No, but the pads would be very helpful.
Yeah,
those would be useful.
If you pad up enough, I'm not familiar with current football pads that much, but I feel like the linemen have things for their arms and forearms and like almost gloves.
Your thighs, your knees, your butt, the back of your quads. You've got padding. Yeah, all the way around. I mean, when I played football as a kid, that's what my football pants, when I put them on, it was like, holy shit, I can take a beating in these. And
I'd still want hockey pants, like those kind of pants over the football ones, because like, the football ones where it's not actually 100% pad around you. It's like there are sections of pads in different areas.
And they only go to your knees.
Yeah, and like a zombie could bite through that.
Totally.
And so that seems like a little bit of false security.
Yeah. That's always one thing that pisses me off, like watching zombie movies. I think you watch any movie that you think that I've done a lot of zombie thinking for whatever reason. I have that personality, probably not a good thing. I think it's like if a chef watches a cooking movie and they see something that's just not right, they get upset. So like they never armor themselves. Like
no.
I'll tell you the first thing I would do. I'd want chainmail, and people are like, it's not medieval times, Kyle. Google chainmail suit. They're incredibly easy to get. For like $500, you get a full medieval times down to your wrist.
I predict that during the apocalypse, 1, mail service is not as good as you're predicting, and 2, chainmail becomes very popular. It comes back in vogue.
Only I've ever thought of this. Apparently,
this is a strong point.
Now, if you live near the beach, maybe like I don't know if that would even be the place to be. One of those shark bite suits. It's got that crazy modern super strong ring mail. There's no way a person, let alone a zombie with a rotten mouth, is ever going to bite through that.
I have seen zombies, like I've seen zombie lore where they can go underwater and travel. but I haven't seen them swim across the top of the water.
No.
So it seems like going sailing La Vagabond style has a lot going on for it.
Totally. Living at sea would be the way to get away from or finding an island that you could clear out. I think would help. But
I feel like of the sports things,
yeah,
the hockey stick would break too easily. Like you
I
get
think
too
so,
into
too.
it and you
I'm
snap
thinking
it.
baseball
I think that
bat.
Fastening a hockey skate to a baseball bat, making like some kind of makeshift axe,
a war
would be
axe.
a good thing. Because I feel like the baseball bat's going to be strong enough that it's not going to shatter.
There must
You
be
could
some
really
sport
give
that
a
has an
hammer.
axe in it. Is there competitive
There's a-
lumberjacking? I've seen
There's
that.
a
There's
there's a
throwing
croquet
axe
mallet.
shit now. Yeah. A croquet mallet?
Yeah,
Yeah.
again, a
No,
little
I
fragile
broke one
to
of
me.
those when I was like 7. Yeah, that wouldn't be good.
Yeah,
Oh,
if you
shit.
stand on it like an asshole, they break.
Well,
Hypothetically,
don't do that.
If you use it to hit trees as hard as you can, they'll break. And then your grandpa comes outside and says, "I got these in 1971."
Oh, shit.
We were talking about do you have any embarrassing sports stories? Being embarrassed in front of a crowd or girls in your class?
Of course.
Yeah.
I play sports. Oh my god. Oh man, I remember like last game of the year. I was pitching and like my arm was just numb from throwing. I'd thrown the whole game. And I couldn't throw anymore. And I kept looking in the dugout like, I'm done. Get me out of here. And nobody's getting me out of there. And little me should have called fucking time and been like, get me out. I'm done. I can't throw. Anyway, I think I walked the game in and lost it, you know. I think I walked in the run, you know. I couldn't throw. My arm was numb. I'd thrown, I don't know, 70 pitches or something. It's
That's bad coaching or management. Bad management.
It was. That guy was weird. I remember he was a man that, you just want a size larger on that shirt, brother. Like I don't know what you're trying to prove. Like what?
catching strays here, bro. What's up?
I've been a medium since I was 15. It's just like, breaking off of
Those come in extra large, Dave.
it was,
not
that's I remember this was in high school. I was this is for my high school team. I was playing goalie, and there were a couple girls from my class who, so if you don't know, if you're from a state that doesn't have like hockey as a popular sport, hockey is not ever affiliated directly with the school, or in most cases it's not, because it's really, really expensive to insure because it's more dangerous than football. And so like it's not connected to the school. And so whereas if you are going to school and then you go to a school related football game, there's some rules regarding, what you can and can't do there. Hockey, it wasn't like that. And so all the crazy kids would go to the hockey games and be wild. And that included all the cool girls, right? And so I remember it was the last game of the season. If we won, we moved on. If we lost, we were eliminated. And we were in overtime. And I let a goal in that went high glove, which is embarrassing to let in. You should never let a high glove one in, ideally. And I remember I went down in a butterfly to save it, which I shouldn't have. That was bad positioning anyway. And like went up, missed it, and had that feeling of like the season's over. You just made a mistake that cost this. And like I was looking up to the left at my glove, and past my glove were the stands where I saw like 3 girls from my grade who were like popular. And like I made eye contact with one of them and was like super just briefly embarrassed, even though there was no reason to be. I found out later that girl actually had a crush on me. So that makes me pretty cool.
Up until that moment.
And then she's like, this guy fucking sucks. I thought he had cat-like reflexes. He's an idiot. Missed that puck. But yeah, I like made eye contact with her, looked away really quick, and was super embarrassed. That sucks. Just fucking up. It's your fault. Everyone. Goalie, that's very evident. Like people are mad at you, usually. You're muted.
Usually when a goalie fucks up, there's a goal. Like if anyone else fucks up, it's a couple steps away from a goal.
Do you know how one of the worst parts about being a goalie is letting the puck in and then having to stand up, turn around, and pull the puck out of your own net and then hand it to the ref? It's like such a demoralizing thing to do. Mm-hmm. It's like, you should get the puck. I'm in a bad mood. Like you should be helping me out. But
I would fish the puck out if I was in position.
Yeah. Or there were the immature goalies who would like get mad and like shoot the puck down the ice, and then the ref would be like, and have to like skate down the length of the ice and get the puck.
In my head, it was like, it's bad enough the puck is in the goal. we're not going to let it hang out in there. You know, we need to erase this mistake.
You got to get it out. Yeah. Man, I do not miss that at all. I told years ago how I had to do track when I was in 8th grade, and they made me do the 100-meter hurdles, and I was so bad at it that I like made it over the first hurdle, and then I clipped the second one, and then I hit the third one, and then I like just went to the left lane and jogged it up. Humiliating. Just my dude, going into it, I remember Coach fucking Kirk was like, Taylor, you're gonna run, and I'm like, really? I'm a shot put guy, and he was like, no, you're gonna run, and I ruined. I lined up next to my buddy Sean, who was fast as shit, and he was like giving me words of encouragement. I'm like, Sean, just stop it. Like, like, you know, it's gonna happen. And then like I got blown the fuck out. And then Coach Kirk did send me to the discus and shot put area, and I was king of the short bus over there. Like the absolute, like these people were not coordinated. They were not sent there because of potential. They were sent there because they couldn't run, and I was in that group. It was so fucking embarrassing just getting blown out. But I saw everyone like so far ahead of me. There was no second that I was in it. I was so far behind. I guarantee everyone watching was like, is this like a Make-A-Wish? Like what's happening here with this dumbass? Do you guys ever really get embarrassed by something athletically in front of like a crowd? There were girls from my grade there.
I've talked about swimming, and the lore I tell is that I took to swimming and I was immediately one of the fastest guys in the team, etc. The reality is I had been surfing for like 6-7 years before I joined a swim team, and surfing was like my whole life, my whole identity. I do it before school, after school, etc. And at least for the freestyle, like the front crawl, paddling a surfboard and that are transferable skills. So it wasn't like the first day success that I'd make it out to be. It's, you know, like, I don't know. I immediately had good footwork in hockey. Yeah, you've been a figure skater for 7 years now. You know, you can skate. All right. But butterfly, I didn't know how to do any other strokes. I only knew how to do front crawl. And in college, my coach asked me to do butterfly. I'm a fuck up asshole at this point in my life who can't take anything seriously. So I do this exaggerated butterfly where I hump the water like 3 times more than I thought you were supposed to. And he's like, perfect. Keep going. And I became the team's butterflyer and had a school record at the end of the year. But that's how I took to butterfly.
Yeah, I love how your embarrassing story just comes out with you being like the top athlete in that. You know, like, well, that didn't seem like it turned out too bad to me, man.
I it was the opposite. Yeah. So that's how I learned butterfly. I was being an asshole trying to hump the water like super big, like it was funny, and it was just the stroke he was looking for.
I did that at one point with like middle school basketball. I was like not putting my hands up high enough to defend. And so he's like, put your hands up, Taylor. And I like would just like was aggressively bad with it. And he's like, perfect. And I'm like, okay. Like, all right. Well, you got me. Like, you knew if you encouraged me to look like a retard, I'll even it out and come down to the appropriate height of basketball hand defense or whatever. Brandon, did you have any awful, embarrassing sports stories growing up?
Nothing too crazy. I just know that, like, God, it's like you were saying with your thing. Like, I was in, I did baseball. Like, I did soccer in middle school, baseball, like t-ball and all that stuff. But I was on varsity baseball for my school, and it was not because I was good enough to be a varsity athlete. It was because we didn't have a fucking JV team. So I was the king
of
the
technicality,
king of right field, dude. I was great at being the one outfielder they pray nothing ever goes to. So I was younger than everybody too, but it was just kind of like anytime anything came my way, I'm just like, fuck, dude. I was daydreaming out here, man. Nothing fucking happens.
There was nothing.
Double vision. Right. So I see 2 of everything. These glasses are corrective in that way, and it's something I normally just deal with and cope with. And I can kind of pull it together if I concentrate, but half the time I don't concentrate just because I don't need good vision right now. I can make it work. Because of that, I sucked at throwing and catching. Like, it just isn't really my thing. Yeah. If you see 2 balls, you're not going to be good at hitting it with a baseball. And it's really tricky to hit something with a bat. The ball's moving, and you have to hit it with like the right part of the bat or the right part of the swing. There's a lot going on. It's easy to mess that up. So I wasn't good at this game. I didn't play much. We're playing in gym class, and the ball comes to me, which is worst case scenario. And this guy who's good at baseball runs up to me. He's like 8 feet away. He's like, throw it to me, Woody, throw it to me, Woody. But this guy's not my friend. I don't trust this person at all. And I can see the play in the infield developing. And he's like, throw it to me, because he thinks I'm going to throw it to the wrong base. I don't trust this guy. And I'm like, I'm not going to be made a fool of and throw this thing 8 feet so that you can throw it to the infield. So I throw it to the wrong base. We lose the game. Everyone's so mad at me.
It came down to that.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
It was like the end of gym class, and I fucked everything up.
See, that's a good one. That's just like, no, everybody's going to be like, Matt. Just fire it to the third baseman and the first baseman, whoever it is.
See, I had all these embarrassing memories. I just zapped them out. It's super easy.
Dude, I remember I was doing a tryout for ice hockey. I was a goalie in ice hockey, and the way that goalie tryouts work is you have your own tryouts when you play for a higher level team. They have like 20, 30 goalies, however many people are competing to try out for that team. And they, like every tryout, the first thing they do is they fuck with your endurance and your ability. And like they see who is flexible and who has endurance. And I remember being like 25 minutes into that tryout and thinking like, I'm going to die. Like, this is the most tired I've ever been. I can't believe, like, is everybody else this tired? Am I the idiot? Am I the like out of shape moron? Like, I thought I was good at hockey. And then this dude on the ice, another goalie, like after skating again, he like stops, and then we all start going back, and he misses a whole skate back, and then we get back again, and he's like, and he threw up on the ice. And nothing gave me more confidence instantly than seeing someone else throw up during a tryout, because it's like, I'm not that guy. Like, I'm not that guy right now. Like, I'm in the group of guys who are under control. Like, that guy's the vomiting guy. And so, like, ironically, him doing that inspired me to like have more energy, because it was such a fear of being that guy. I can't be the guy that like is being pointed out by the coaches, because the coaches are up in the stands, and like you start vomiting, they're going to be like, number 23, who's that? Stevenson? Yeah, gone. He's not getting invited back tomorrow.
So you don't want to vomit during a tryout, but if you vomit during training, I was always a little impressed.
That's like, yeah, if it's someone who's like in really good shape vomiting.
Yeah. I've seen it a couple times. I wasn't on the team, but I saw, I guess I was watching a track team workout or something. My girlfriend was on the track team at the time. And guy, he's working out. He's kicking his own ass with the effort he's putting in. He puts his head into a trash can, and this trash can had, has a lid over it and a little door in the front. So he puts his like shoulder deep through that door, vomits, and then gets back to training. And I was like, that's actually pretty badass. I've seen it in swimming a lot too. In swimming, if you're outside the pool and you vomit on the like cement, that sucks. But it anytime I've seen it, it's been like super watery and not that gross. One guy though put his head in the fucking skimmer, which is that little thing with the door in the pool. And I'm like, that's just not how you vomit during swim practice, you asshole.
What a douchebag.
What are you talking about? It's all right there.
It's going like to the filter, I guess, but it's
the ultimate shared space. You can't be like, that's so fucking rude to vomit in the pool. Like,
how many everyone parts per million of Steve's vomit are we all swimming in?
Yeah, it tastes a little like Buffalo Wild Wings in here. Like, just a tiny bit. You guys are both baseball fans. What happens, or is there a punishment for umpires who fuck up in a game? Like if a umpire makes a genuine call, not something that like one fan base you get screwed, something that like the baseball community is like, that was a ball, he called it a strike, that cost the Astros the game. Maybe Astros is the wrong team.
Nothing ever happens as far as I know. I mean, the other day there was an instance where I think that I'm going to get it wrong, even though I saw it 3 times, but the catcher was throwing the ball to the umpire. The umpire was throwing the ball to the catcher, and the umpire thought that the catcher was trying to make him look bad by not catching it or making it so he couldn't catch it, and immediately threw him out of the game. When all it was the catcher wasn't paying attention with his hand out. And it's like, dude, you just threw a guy out of the game for literally because you misunderstood the situation. And there's no recompense. There's no get it back kind of thing. No, they stick by those guys. I've never heard of anything happening. And for that matter, in the UFC and in boxing, where you see things that the way those sports are bet on round by round sometimes, like with the live betting, it's like a criminal conspiracy. It's like in the movie Snatch, how you got Bricktop and walking out and everybody's like, what the fuck, Bricktop? You said he was going to take the time. It's like that in professional boxing. It's so akin to that you can see it from the TV cameras. You can see it. Like some of those scorecards that come in, you don't need to be a boxing expert. You can count punches. You can count punches and know the fix is in. One
of the longest tenured refs in the NHL got fired like 2 or 3 years ago, maybe 2 years ago, because he got caught in the middle of a game. Like everybody knows that refs like aren't 100% objective. They kind of try and call it even. Like if they've called 5 things on one team, they're going to be looking for something on the other team to try and even it up. And he got caught on a hot mic in the middle of a game, like talking to another ref, being like, I got to get one on Nashville. They've got too many over there. I'm going to get one on Nashville. And like, then he called a penalty on Nashville and it went out and it was like, oof. The whole community was like, yeah, we kind of knew this happened, but we didn't know it was like, I got to call one on Nashville, like something like almost to that extent. And yeah, he got fired.
It's like riling people on reality television up or something, so they like fight or something in the episode.
I empathize with his like situation too, because like you're trying to keep it calm. And if one team is slashing 6 times in a row, like it almost makes you uncomfortable, especially like if you're at that team's home. Like it would be weird.
I've seen whole conspiracy videos talking about how the NBA has predetermined endings and stuff. And talking about how the scores move together and I don't give a shit because it's not my thing, the NBA. But it seems like a lot of people believe that sport is fixed.
I think refs
like more than the average sport, I would say.
Yeah, didn't a couple of refs get caught?
Yeah, refs have been caught fixing games like recently, 2020 something, or maybe 2010 something.
Wow, in the NBA specifically.
Yeah, and Zach probably knows all about this.
But I guess NBA is it. Like I don't know the rules of basketball that well, but I know if you call like 2 fouls on someone real quick, you kind of hamstring them for the rest of the game, or maybe it's 3 fouls, something like that.
So you get 5, your 6-1 throws you out of the game. And, so if you're sitting there with 2 or 3 fouls, especially if it's only halfway in the game, then you need to start playing passively. Mm-hmm. And it's easier to score against you because you can't take any more fouls.
And then I'm sure the NBA's response was like, we got him. Like George W. Bush, like mission accomplished. We got that one guy. We took care of it. All the other refs are great.
That's exactly what they did. And there's some other refs that kind of like seemed guilty also. And of course, fans, they dig into the stats like crazy, and they're like, "Man, this guy calls so many fouls against the Suns. This is a statistical anomaly." Yeah. I think mostly the better teams win.
Oh yeah. Like usually.
I don't know how they could beyond, calling additional fouls, like how they could fake any other part of the game. Like I don't know. It's hard to make actual gameplay intent, like taking a dive or gameplay. It's like a gamer term. You know what I mean? Basketball gameplay. Mm-hmm. So to make that look like intentionally bad on purpose or taking a dive or whatever.
Yeah, they're basically just like soft constructing it. Like, this guy's doing really well. You got to just calm him down.
I was going to say basketball is unique this way, but I take it back. It seems like every sport, most fouls are in the gray area, right? Like Taylor, can you hold a guy back a little bit in hockey, right? If I hook you with my stick and try to get a free ride, there's like an instant of that's allowed. And then a little too much and it becomes not allowed. So the ref could really decide to call stuff or not call stuff all game long. There's opportunities to just be a little stricter. And
it's about consistency in that way. Where like if the ref calls some like really strict tripping in game 1 and then he just lets him play in the second period and they're beating the hell out of each other, and then like a strict hold in the third. It's like, well, there's no consistency here. Like you either need to establish early, like you're going to call it like real strict, which I would as a viewer, I don't want him to do that, or you like let him play in the playoffs. And like I watched just last night, a player slashed another player in the back of the leg so hard that like he fell, and then another player tripped the slasher, and I could almost see the ref in real time be like, that equals out. Like that. All right, we're gonna keep the play moving. That evens out. You're both bad. Like, and then kind of kept it flowing. Whereas in a regular season game, that probably would have been matching minors. And so, like, as long as it's consistent, I'm good.
In basketball, when you dribble, you can't hold the bottom of the ball. I'm not sure if you can hold the perfect side, but it gets to be like, what's a carry is such a gray area. You could call it almost every possession or never, and both would be kind of within the bounds of basketball. And then you're allowed, I think, like 1 or 2 steps or 1.5 steps after you stop dribbling. But then there's the gather step. And the gather step is another gray area. Like, was he still dribbling and gathering the ball up? Or was that his first step? Mm-hmm. And the way that these players have the gather so figured out, it seems like they can run in all the way from the 3-point line nowadays. And
yeah,
it's just like, it's football, but at the end it's basketball. Oh, I said it backwards.
Min-max for sure.
Like every once in a while, they need to make changes in sports to like keep it in the spirit of it, where they're like, I get it, you're gathering, but dribbling is so much of what we're doing here, guys. Like, it's such a key part of it. Like, we got to make sure you're doing it.
Scoring in basketball's up like crazy. So prior to like last week, I think 3 players over 33 had ever scored 40 points in the playoffs. Right? Over 33 years old, you can't get 40. That's ridiculous. 3 people did it last week. Like Jimmy Butler, Steph Curry, and another guy.
That makes me feel good. As a 34-year-old, that makes me feel pretty good. It occurred to me that like everybody on TV, who's playing a sport for the most part is younger than me at this point. This happened a few years ago, actually.
I remember that phase, yes.
Yeah, and
I don't like it.
It's kind of tough.
At 30, you can convince you, even though you're past your physical prime, there are definitely a lot of athletes having the career years at like 30 to 32, even maybe not 33, like they're not their best anymore. But 30 to 32, they have this right balance of remaining athleticism and game experience and game intelligence that they kill it. They kill it. You hit 36 and you're like, yeah, really no one's peaking anymore.
Yeah, you're winding down.
Yeah. And I don't even talk
a couple more years. If I really try, I could make something happen maybe.
Then, like 38-year-olds right now, LeBron James is having a fantastic year. He's having a fantastic playoffs, and he's 38 years old. But when you're 38 and they're like, this guy's a medical miracle. Can you believe he's even playing? Yeah. You're like, fuck.
It's gotta get in your head.
Dude, what I like now is like I'll check to see who like the Blues are trading for, and it's some guy who's like 10 months younger than me, and I'm like, what are we trading for this old man? Like he's got injury history. What's he doing? Like we trade Tarasenko, and I'm like, thank God we got rid of that guy with his injury history, Mr. Younger than me. Like
yeah.
So, yeah, it is weird.
There are other leagues where fighting is more penalized. I don't think there's very much fighting in international hockey.
Mm-hmm.
Are the concerns, for people who don't know, they basically say fighting stops people from taking runs at their best player because the guy who takes a run will get beat up. Fighting stops people from doing stuff like slashing to the helmet or poking or maybe just jamming you with the butt end of the stick. All these things have consequences in the form of your team's tough guy dropping the gloves and beating you up. And they say it keeps players in line. But there are other leagues with less fighting. Do those bad things happen a lot in those leagues?
In those leagues, like, it's also a different culture in different leagues. Like Europeans, like it's not nearly as physical a game. A lot of that comes down to the fact that NHL is on smaller ice surface than the larger European style ice. And so it's just a different play style. A lot of it is that Americans and Canadians in particular play the game of ice hockey very, very heavy and very physical. Canadians in particular, like for a long time, Canadians just ran roughshod over people, because I'm like, you might anticipate like, oh, the Russians, they're so tough and all that. Like, they're still European hockey players. And so like a big problem for Russians coming over here back in the day when they first started was like they'd get slobber knocked by some big Ontario boy who'd been training for that his entire life.
The Philadelphia Flyers.
Basically the Flyers.
Quit the game.
That was
Broad Street bullies fucked them up.
That's the worst thing for my argument pro fighting, because the Broad Street bullies they didn't even try to win a lot of the time. They were a great team, but when it became clear they were losing, they're like, if we take out, let's do a little mental math here. They only have 5 starters. What if they had 2 starters? Like, that's good for our team.
Cobra Kai method.
Yeah.
Cheat and knock them out.
I think, we've talked about that before. I guess the stakes are higher though, right? And if you're playing in the NHL, I would imagine there's a lot of money on the line if your team wins or loses. So I don't know what they're playing for in Europe.
They're just smaller leagues.
Also money, and I think you.
Yeah, but it's that European
Olympics.
money.
People tend to care about the Olympics quite a bit.
That's true.
Yeah, true. When I was younger, I thought it was allowed to fight. I always had that stereotype as well until I was about 15 or 16, and I knew a guy who was really into hockey. He said, no, they're not allowed to do that. Sometimes they kind of look the other way because they just want them to get it out and get it over with, but it's not allowed in any capacity.
Really, the penalty's just very
weak. Okay. The penalty's very weak. That's another way of putting it.
5 for fighting. Like that. That's the reason there's a band called that. But yeah, 5 minutes for fighting. It's one of the most fun parts of hockey. And like what I like about the culture of fighting is that refs will get chewed out and booed if they are perceived to stop it too quickly. And announcers, like if there's a fight going on and there haven't been a few good, throws yet, the announcers will even be like, oh, it looks like the ref stepped in a little prematurely there. And they're like, that's right, Tom. It looks like they just got fighting. And I don't think that's going to do. Like,
they only got one swing.
I love that. It's like, no, like at least let them each eat a couple hands. And then you can kind of tell when they're over it. And then they give each other a little side hug and a back pat, and they say, good ruck or whatever the fuck, and then they skate back to their bench. So it's a wonderful thing. That's why the Canadians are so aggressive in the NHL, is that they don't have I don't think they have a military. Like that's where they get it all out. They get it all out on the ice. That's why they're the best. You're muted, Kyle.
Taylor talking as if that's even remotely true. There's no military. There's no police. I don't think they.
Well, they have police. They got these Mounties. But after World War II, they had to sign an agreement that they wouldn't have an army anymore. Like them, Germany, and Japan all had to disarm the Axis.
Well, I mean, Japan had to because of an imminent threat. Canada did because it was embarrassing our side of the aisle. We were like, guys, come on. Like
the Mexicans are looking.
Yeah, the Mexicans are looking, and the Mexicans are making fun of us.
I do love that. I love that scene in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood when Brad Pitt tells Leonardo DiCaprio, "Don't cry. The Mexicans will see." Like gives him his sunglasses so the Mexicans won't see him fucking crying.
Josh, if you were to improve any of the 4 major sports, make it more fun, more intense, what would be a rule change or two you might throw in the mix?
Oh, man, I don't know too terribly much about sports, but I'll say that football, when the ball hits the ground, it's still live like rugby. That makes it intense. That's why I enjoyed watching rugby. I don't know a ton about it, but somebody fumbles in American football, still live. Pile on it. Get it. Go.
That'd be interesting.
No. And they also
make it a wildly different game.
It would. And they also don't wear pads. They wear, they tape their ears and they wear a cup, but they're doing the same tackles that as far as I can tell, for the most part, similar tackles and stuff to American football. So, since I'm not the one going in the mix, let's take the pads and the helmets out too. Hey, do a rugby style, rubber helmet, tape your ears up.
That'd be interesting to see for the first season they implemented that, because immediately the game would shift to smaller guys with good cardio, because you can only have so many 480-pound monsters running it around. Like I know all those guys are athletes. Like even the biggest, fattest lineman is unbelievably strong and like a real athlete. He would succeed in anything. They're fast for their size. But those plays, those highlights where a defensive or a D lineman or whatever picks up the ball and starts running it, and you immediately feel like they run the way I do in a dream, where they're just kind of slowly ambling there towards the fucking end zone, and you can see everyone around them just flying.
Is that finger supposed to point that way?
No, that's when that guy got knocked out.
See, this is what I don't like about the NFL. The fucking gang signs on the field. Like, come on, dude.
He's screaming in pain.
You don't see that in baseball.
No, you don't see that in baseball. America's pastime.
Kyle, so how on a scale of 1 to 10, how scared are you of the Phillies?
I got 3, I guess. I think your odds are 7%. I think your odds are 7% to take the series.
7?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of teams, still left. I think it's something like that.
I thought I didn't understand what I was thinking of this series involving the Braves and the Phillies alone.
Yeah, I only care about winning the series.
I hear you.
The Phillies.
It's fun because my team's up against yours. I wonder what the odds are.
I think the 20th is when it starts. I think Atlanta's like a negative 185. So you'd have to bet $185 on Atlanta to win, and then if they do so, you get $100.
Zach says Braves are plus 300, but I forget how that plus minus. I've learned it.
I promise you, we're favored.
I wouldn't doubt that. Yeah, I would think you are. But the plus 300, minus 185, these things all don't mean enough to me.
Yeah, so
we need to get into sports gambling so we understand it.
That's illegal in my state anyway. I think if it's 300, then you'd have to bet 300 on the Braves to win, and you get 100 back.
Okay. Now it says 100. Atlanta's minus 175, which I think is maybe what you said before.
185 is what I'd seen.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
So
anyway,
you bet 185 to 100.
Atlanta has a 63% chance to advance. 64.
Yeah,
I get that way more.
Yeah,
they're the number 1 seed. They're the number 1 seed. They're best team in baseball. Broke a bunch of records this year. Some silly records, but also
did they get the home run?
I don't think they got the one for the whole team. I could be wrong about that, but they set one guy set a franchise record for home runs. He hit over 50, and then Acuna Jr. did a 40-70, which is a brand new thing. 40-40 was the thing.
Right.
Like, yeah, it's 40-40 season, 40 home runs and 40 stolen bases, and he tacked 30 on what you normally brag about and set a record.
Founded the 40-70 club.
Yeah, him and the commissioner's new rules set, of course. I'm not blind to that. It's obviously he wouldn't have stolen 70 bases without the new rules. And there's a lot of them that kind of combine together to make stolen bases easier. But yeah, it's going to be a fun series. Looking forward to it. Atlanta's got home field advantage throughout the entire, playoffs and the World Series because they won that. So it'll be.
I don't watch
neat.
baseball. I occasionally read about it. That's how I follow sports mostly. And but I did watch the highlight of the Phillies hitting a grand slam against the Marlins. That's how they kind of had an insurmountable lead-ish in the closeout game. Cool. Anyway, there's a shot clock kind of on the pitcher now, so they have to keep the game moving. And I love the idea. I think it's good for the game. I think it's been great for this season. But in that moment, I didn't like it. The dude hit a grand slam, and the next guy's up there like swinging away, and the crowd's like still talking about the previous play. Like it was a little fast.
I didn't know they implemented a change like that. That's interesting.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. To try and people saying baseball is boring, I'm guessing.
It's to speed up the game. So now they cut like an hour off the game times, but they score more runs in that shorter game. They did a bunch of things. When they go to extra bases, they just throw a fucking guy on second. Like they really wanted to speed the game.
They should have made these changes 105 years ago.
Wow.
Then it wouldn't feel so weird.
Yeah. Your first baseman for the Phillies, his name's escaping me. Is it Bryce?
John Kruk?
Well, they just moved him to first
Pablo
because
Martinez.
he had Tommy John surgery. The Phillies, the guy Bryce Harper. Thanks. Yeah, that guy's fun. That you've got one of the more fun guys in all of baseball as far as a good on the microphone and on social media and the way he handles his business on the field. He's that guy who was screaming at the Cubs, like you're a loser organization. Or I think it was the Cubs. It might not have been, but just he's super hyped up. And this year, he's a big deal. I think he played right field before. Had Tommy John surgery, which is on your elbow or shoulder or whatever. And usually something for pitchers, but I guess he had to have it. And they moved him to first base because it's going to be easier on his arm, I suppose. But he's been really good at first. So he's definitely my favorite Philly, which isn't saying much.
I think John Kruk, an equally fun to watch Philly, was their first baseman in like 1996. So
I only know him because he like guest starred in an Aqua Teen Hunger Force episode once. Like that's all I know about John Kruk.